Okay, that's the layout of the downstairs. Upstairs it had a 3-bedroom manager's accommodation. So this is what we had to work with. Can anybody just think about that configuration? It had 6 bedrooms either side, it had a bathroom, and that was a big community area. So just have a think about that as I'm talking. What would you do if you had this property? Once again, it was a commercial property, and they couldn't sell the property, and we thought at the time that we could refinance Harvey Bay because the bank hadn't said no. So we came in all guns firing, going, this is going to be fantastic. And we went to the seller of the property and said, what we'd like to do is break it into units. And he said, you can't do that. The reason you can't do that is because I've paid a town planner to come and look at the car parking. And out the front of the property, there's not enough car parking because there's not enough car parking for what you want to do. You would need at least 12 car parks to fit in there. Otherwise, the council isn't going to pass it. And so he said, that's why it hasn't sold, because of the car parking. And have a look, that's the car parking area in there. And I said, oh, well, that's nice, but we'll proceed anyway. So we offered him $1,000 as an option with 12 months. We pay him in 12 months. And as an escape clause, if you didn't pay him in 12 months, we would actually pay him 10% interest on the outstanding money. Right? Because you always have to have, we hadn't planned on doing that, but you always have to have something to cover your back. What happens if that doesn't happen? And so we got this solicitor to draw all the deal up. In the meantime, we had our town planner come and actually have a look at it, and he applied to council, and he said, we only want to put in 6 car parks and 2 visitor car parks, and the reason we should be able to do that is because this is opposite Redbank Plaza Shopping Centre, and this is all car parking here. And why can't we do this? And the council says, well, you can. Right, so we said, thank you very much. Okay, well, we'll do this. So we came in. Amanda does all our internal designs. We came in. That's what the configuration of the property was, where he's trying to get the car parks in there. We had to knock walls out and do all sorts of things, but we ended up getting enough car parks to appease the gods. Right, and put a thing in. That's the layout of the top of the property. That's what we had to work with, and that's what we ended up building. So Amanda and I went up there and we were hands-on. We worked with the builder, who was very good, and we ended up making 6 units out of the property. We did a CMS on that property, which turned it once again from commercial into residential. And then we sold all of the properties, and all of the properties fell over on the valuation. Right? Because the valuers are scum. And the banks pay the valuers, and the valuers want, there were any valuers here before I really pushed their head underwater? So what ended up happening was we ended up selling 2 of the properties then, and in January we sold the 3rd property. So we have 3 properties in that complex now, and of course they're all very cash flow positive. All right, here's what we did. Asking price 800, but even though we were under option, I still negotiated down to 720, and basically they were about to hit the wall anyway, so they were really glad to get that 720. We had so many problems with this property. One of the big problems was we put all the plans into council. We'd finished the work. We were waiting for council to stamp the plans so that we could sell the properties. And then I rang them up like a month later saying, well, what's happening, guys? And they said, well, we're not stamping anything. And I said, why is that? And he said, well, there's an $85,000 rates bill that they haven't paid. And until the rates bill is paid, we're not going to stamp the plans. And I said, well, all you have to do is stamp the plans and we'll pay your rates bill. That can come out of, out of the settlement of the things. And we went in, we had meetings with councillors, and the council just said it wouldn't budget. Apparently it's against Queensland state law for the council to do that. It's in this Queensland constitution. So we ended up going to our joint venture partners, who we had a property in Blackwater that was unencumbered, and we gave them a quarter of our property in Blackwater. They gave us the money to pay the rates. We paid the rates, and as soon as the property was sold, we gave the property in Blackwater, our joint venture partners, the money back so that we had our half share of the property again. Okay. Any questions on that one? Huh? What are you laughing at? How am I going for time, Matt? I could be here for years.
Yeah. Probably another 5.
Another 5, early. Okay, we'll whiz through this.
Yeah. 5 minutes,
Hey?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, Blackwater. Blackwater was the joint venture partner. It was on 3/4 of an acre. I went to a seminar, and I have learned most of my information by going to seminars. Dipna Boholt is I consider Australia's best property speaker on creative property investing. And sorry, no, Dipna Boholt. She speaks with Richard Branson, and she is keynote speaker in Australia. She does free one-day seminars. Go along and have a look if you're interested in property. This one was 3/4 of an acre, and rental return was $1,000 a week. Asking price $365,000. That property today would probably be worth. That was 2 years ago. I guess it'd be worth about $800,000. We get $2,000 a week rental return. 8. This is a TAFE building. But you can have caretakers living in it, and we just happen to have a big company caretaking it. We rang up Coates Hire next door, and we said to Coates, because they've got machinery everywhere, would you like to rent the block of land at the back? And they said, yeah, how much? And we said $550 a week. So we put the rent up to $1,550 for the TAFE, because it's 8 bedroom, and then we rented the block of land at the back. Now we can subdivide the block of land at the back and sell it for about $280,000 if we want, but we were toying with putting storage sheets on it. But really, that's our joint venture partners. Have gone off on another tangent, so we're just not doing anything really. We tried to buy it from them, but they don't want to sell it, and why would you? You know, they put $185,000 they've invested in that property, plus stamps, and they're getting $1,000 a week return. Who wants that? Yeah, me. It's an hour 40 west of Brockhampton. Very good place to invest. You can't buy a property there today. We tried to buy another one up there last month, and just got gazumped. You know, the people are paying asking price more for the properties there at the moment. All right, so let's move quickly to no money down deals. I'm going to have to skip all that. Here's a no money down deal. The place is falling to the ground. The lady's got a $191,000 loan on the house. We had an engineer come out. The engineer said, knock it down. You can see the structural cracks in there. It's on black soil. It's at the back of Ipswich. It's on a nice sized block, but the house is falling down on all sides. The engineer, and I quote, said, I've gone over to New Zealand and been working with the people who had the earthquakes over there. They have knocked down houses that are in far better condition than this one. Right? It was just derelict. $191,000 is her loan. We sold this one on owner finance to a man from South America who can't bring his money over here, and he's done work like this over in South America. He said, this is nothing. He said, you should see what we do over there. So he's come in. He's paid $195,000 for it on 3-year terms. He's going to go in and fix all the structural work on the property. I have agreed to buy the property off the lady who's selling it for $150,000. So when it settles, there'll be a $40,000 shortfall. The lady who owns the property pays me $50 a week. and she also let me do an owner finance on her property at Logan Lee, which is 2 houses on an acre at Logan Lee. That is very, is a no money down deal as well. So what the bank's saying no forced me to do was to go and do a course with Rick Otten, and Rick Otten taught me how to do no money down deals, joint ventures, options, instalment contracts, and how to get them to market. And so that is what we're doing now. So finally, 52 years, I get here and we're self-sufficient. We don't need to work. We've got our property portfolio is going to look after us for the rest of our life. And I got to a point and I said, what am I going to do now? I thought it'd be a time that I'd celebrate. Hey, I don't have to ever work, you know, how good's this? But it wasn't. It was like, well, I've got here now, what I'm going to do next. And every time I've gone and spent money doing seminars and things like that, I've always made a lot of money by following the mentors of the seminar. And as I said, I've got nothing to sell, but anybody who's in business, I'd like to tell you about the seminar that I went to do. And this is on business. Anybody who has their own business, who wants to really have it go ahead in leaps and bounds. Who's heard of Wilson Luna? Right? Anyway, I bought in some flyers and I've got tickets here for a free 2-day seminar with Wilson Luna. He consults for big corporations and he charges $50,000 for 5 days of consulting, where you get to work with him one-on-one, you know, when you do his seminars. It was the most amazing seminar I've done since Hippner and Rick Otten. So I've got tickets here. If anybody wants the free tickets for the 2-day seminar, it's next month. Come and see me and I'll give them to you, and there's some flyers down the back if you just want to have them anyway. So that finishes my talk. Does anybody want to ask me any other questions? Yes. I was an IT consultant, and before that I was a qualified chef, and somewhere in amongst that I had a failing dive shop with my ex-husband for 8 years. So, and I even tried trading the stock market for a while. So I didn't have, all I did was have a passion for real estate. I didn't have a history of real estate. Okay.
Any other questions? No one ever asks when I say it.
They did ask me questions.
They did.
Matt.
I know. Well
Very
done.
good.
Please give Kerry a round of applause. Thanks very much, Kerry. I'll just take